Oh. We had been studying Sri Shankaracharya's Tattvabodha, a Pratana Grantha on Vedanta. In the introduction, we have learned what is called a prakaran, means an instrument to achieve a better result, and in short, about the Vedanta, the Upanishads, the Gita, Brahma Sutra, its main texts, and the meaning of Tattvabodha means the knowledge of the truth. In the introduction class, we also saw that in the benediction, in a invocation, the Guru, there has been a prayer to him that we dedicate all our efforts to his lotus feet. And with this, we try to study, and by his grace, we have to study Vedanta, this Tattvabodha, or any other knowledge which we want to imbibe. Today, we shall continue in brief about the text of the Tattvabodha. To begin with, first, as a custom in a Sanatana Hindu Dharma, to pray as a Mangalacharan to Guru, and then we will directly come to the text. So, in this text itself, the Mangalacharan which has been given, let us come to the text directly. As we have seen, this small treatise is divided into few chapters. We will start with the first chapter, the chapter which is called as Adhikari. There are 5 chapters in together in this Tattvabodha. Adhikari is the first chapter which we shall begin today. Then, in the beginning, as we said, we will do the Mangalacharan, the prayer to the Guru. Om Sri Guru Bhya Namaha. We pray to Guru, and Om in the very beginning, it is said Tasya Vachika Pranavaha. Om is the name of Brahman, of Ishvara, of God. And Atha Sri Shankaracharya Virachita Tattvabodha. We have said about Guru that in our Guru tradition, Guru Parampara, as Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Satchidananda himself is the Guru, Ishwar himself is the Guru. But for most of the people, because we may not be that competent even, so the God, Ishvara himself comes. Again, in the one that use the word Ishvara, there is no gender difference there like himself or herself. It is beyond all those differences. But whichever form appeals to us, that way we name him. And he or she comes to us in the form, taking a human form as it were, whom we generally call Guru. But there has been in the Sanatana Parampara persons who, without the help of any external human Guru, but always with the grace of Ishwar Satchidananda, and they went and they imbibed and they attained the goal. Just to give few examples in recent times, Sri Ramana Maharshi or Ananda Mahima and so on. And that's why when Guru, he graces us to the Sishya, to the disciples, it shows that Guru, as it were, cleanses our mind of samskara, whichever are there, hindering or obstructing or as an obstacle to the gain of knowledge. Guru helps gain that knowledge. Likewise, in the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, it has been said that let our dhi, our shuddha, our pure intellect, be awakened. This is the prayer to the Universal Guru in another form, that let we able to understand this text, this knowledge, and imbibe this wisdom within ourselves. And in this process, through Guru and Shishyas, their debate or conversations or questions as answers, the Shishya, our disciples, slowly gets the better and better understanding and moves towards Charaiveti, goes onwards, forward towards the goal. These few points we have discussed in the earlier class, introduction class today, earlier day. And today, now we'll come directly to the first chapter of Adhikari. While doing the Mangalacharan, we'll see that it also gives a prayer to the Guru, as it were. It says that Vasudevendra Yogindra Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitharthaya
Guru
Tattva Bodha Abhidhiyate, means
Bodha
Vasudevendra. Vasudev, Indra means he is the king. Vasudevendra, who in a way, in a human form, the son of Vasudeva. This is Vasudeva, means Sri Krishna. It is in the human form. And his Yogindra, also the king of gurus. Natva, I am offering my pranam to him. And who is the Jnanapradam Guru? Who is the Guru? Teacher is the Jnanapradam, who bestows knowledge to whom? To the Mokshunam, who aspires to get this knowledge, who are seekers after liberation, Hitarthaya, for their benefit, so that they can be benefited by this knowledge, by this wisdom. That's why this Tattvabodha, this knowledge of truth of Vedanta, is being expounded, is being abhidhiyate. So as we have again said earlier, that though the name Vasudeva as human form means Sri Krishna, but again Vasudeva means Vishnu and Narayana or Ishvara, the abstract form which is beyond the any human form. But according to our samskaras, any person is free to take up that in his human form, or whichever human form is his guru is there, and the same Ishvara who is beyond, who is Parabrahma, who is Nirakara Nirguna, that same Ishvara as Nirakara Saguna, with compassionate Ishvara. It comes to us as Sri Bhagavan, Saguna, Sakara, and in human form to ourselves in a form of Guru. So there is no difference between the Nirakara Nirguna Parabrahman and Nirakara Saguna Brahman, and then the Sakara Saguna Sri Bhagavan says Avatara, or the Guru, human form who comes to us. In another form also, in the another idea we can take up, like in the Srimad Bhagavat, it has been said of Avadhuta, there were 24 gurus. So he learnt not only from the human guru or Satchidananda in the abstract form, but also from this whole universe. Because in Vedanta it has been said that Ishvara himself, he becomes this universe. So everything in the universe is a form of God, and everything in the universe can teach us and lead us towards moksha, towards liberation. So there the story goes that there are 24 gurus of Avadhita, where he learns not only from the human beings, but from the different creatures like birds and animals and so on, and even from little child, and even from the nature. So everything is vibrant with this potential and to teach us. And if we are aware, if we are open to that, then we can imbibe those teachings, that wisdom, the truth, we can get it ourselves. So these are some of the deeper meanings or deeper thoughts on the idea of concept of Guru. And another we have said in a Guru Shishya Parampara that Shishya also we can question whatever he has doubts. Like Swamiji, Swami Vivekananda, he used to say, very fond of charcha, like talking, discussing, and conversations with others and within Guru and disciple, Shishya, about the concepts of Vedanta and different spiritual topics. So that also helps gain our understanding and clears our doubts. So this is another aspect when we approach our Guru with all the humility. And when this idea of Guru being everywhere in this whole world, anybody can teach us. And when we understand or realize the final, the illumination, the realization that is my inner swarupa, my essence, is none other than me, is the very essence of myself, my real self. Then that idea of even Swami says in one of his letters, idea of samadharshvitva, the same-sightedness which comes, and the whole universe and the realization, everything comes in a new light or new way of approaching the reality of the truth or the wisdom of knowledge as it were. So now let us come directly to the concept of adhikari, the first chapter. Regarding adhikari, we have said earlier, the last day, that there are four basic prerequisites for any subject when we want to learn or gain expertise. It were adhikari, vishaya, the subject, the prajna, the need of that, and the sambandha, the relationship of that. Those three, vishaya, sambandha, prajna, in short, we have discussed earlier. We'll come again that later after we complete this adhikari. So let us first begin with the concept of adhikari. Who is adhikari? Adhikari in the concept, many times we think that the idea of right, that this is my right, this is my adhikara, or do this or have these or like that. But there is even deeper meaning of another idea of adhikari. It is means competence or eligibility. How much I am ready to gain that knowledge. Like a small kid boy, without learning the alphabets, cannot read any sentence. Or a small boy without knowing the basic arithmetics, the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, he cannot do higher calculus. Or small boy who is just learning the basics of the science, he cannot understand the higher science of Newton or Einstein. So on, we need to prepare ourselves to be open and to be aware, to understand that knowledge of Tattvabodha. So here comes the concept of adhikari, not only right alone, but in the idea of eligibility or competence. Here Sri Shankaracharya says, in the very first one, sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam tattva viveka prakaram varshyamaha. What is he saying? He is saying that sadhana chatushtaya, the four sadhanas, the four types of the spiritual practices, sampan adhikarinam, one who is endowed with, one has this, done these four types of spiritual practices, he is adhikari, and for purpose of which? For the purpose of moksha sadhana bhutam, for the purpose of gaining liberation, these fourfold practices are essentials. They helps for the tattva viveka, for the arising of the Tattva, the truth, for the knowledge of understanding the truth. These four practices are essentials, or qualifications are essentials beforehand. Parakaram Bhakshyama. I will explain these. What he's saying, he said in Hindi, and the टेक्स्ट साधन चतुष्टय संपत्ति से युक्त अधिकारी के लिए मोक्ष के साधन रूप तत्व विवेक का प्रकार बताने जा रहे हैं. We will explain for those who are endowed with the fourfold qualification sadhana chatushta, which are called the mode of discrimination, which is a means of liberation. So in the very basic, which is said that we need four qualification to be competent, to be eligible, to go further, to learn and understand much more about Vedanta. What are those? The next question is asked. साधन चतुष्टयम किम? वो चार साधन कौन से हैं? What are the fourfold qualifications to be adhikari? Now he comes in the next point. He answers that question. What are the fourfold things? He says, first he says, Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. Next he says, Iha, Mutrartha, Phalabhoga, Viraga. Then the third, Shamadhi, Sham Adi, Shatka, Sampattihi. The fourth, Mokshatvam cha iti. So here are the four things he is saying. We'll begin each one separately. The first one, Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. इस और परलोक के भोग से वैराग्य, श्रम आदि 6 संपत्ति और मुमुक्षत्व है. The English translation, the capacity to discriminate between the permanent and the impermanent. This is the first one. Second is dispassion to the enjoyment of the fruits of one's actions here and hereafter. The third, the group of 6 accomplishments beginning with Shama. The fourth, the yearning for liberation. So, we will start each one at a time. The first question he asked, and the next, the Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha. Means, the first of these 4 sadhanas for being hikari, for being competent, for being eligible, which is that, he says that Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka kisa कहते हैं? What is meant by this discrimination between the eternal and the ephemeral? Now let's start this with the very first one. To begin with this, some questions arise in your mind that what is the nature of these 4 qualifications to be adhikari, to be eligible, to be competent? How I'll be competent for this, or if I am not competent, or when I can know I am competent or not, or what is the path we can be sure of to know my progress and so on. Such questions arise in our mind. To get an idea of a story from the Upanishads, basically from the Katha Upanishad, the story of Nachiketa, a small boy. There is it has been said that Shraddha Avivesha. This Shraddha word, it will come later in this Sadhana Chatushta itself. We will see that. It said the Shraddha entered, as it were, the heart of Nachiketa, the small boy's heart. And with this idea, with this Shraddha, once it entered, he said that Bahuna may be Prathama, Bahuna may be Madhyama. Among many, I am the first, among many I am the middle, but I am never the last of all. So this self-confidence, self-esteem, but not any pride or arrogance, this positive, this vibe, this inspiration. This helps one to progress on and on towards the goal, final goal of wisdom of Vedanta, and that helps one imbibe this competence or eligibility of the sadhana chatushtaya. That shows that in the very beginning, the Shraddha details will come later on because it is one of these four sadhana chatushtayas. The meaning will come, and once it matures more and more, we progress on and on, and it shows us in our own mind, or we can ourselves get an idea that how we can directly gain ourselves from this idea of Shraddha. Like a yearning of a child towards his mother, and slowly a small child initially cannot stand up or even not sit up, then he is able to sit up, and a small infant, and then he can stand up, and slowly he can walk, and then he can run and become slowly grown up. Similarly, with the very basic, trying to at least imbibing these four sadhana chatushtayas, in the beginning that may be very less, maybe 1% or so, but with time it will mature, and more we will increase in our competence or eligibility, and will move towards the goal of Tattva Viveka. So now to come to the very first of the sadhana chatushtaya, the Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Here, as we said, the Tattva Viveka and Bodha is a very short treatise for Vedanta. There are much more elaborate other books. For example, by Sri Shankaracharya himself, one of the very famous and best book of Viveka Churamani. There are others also written by others, like Vedanta Saraha, where some more details are given. There, this question of adhikari, like in this book, it has been given only alone these four sadhana chatushtaya, nothing else has been denoted. But those books, something other also has been added, which also encompasses and leads towards this sadhana chatushtaya. Those are still much more preliminary. Much more preliminary means once you gain some idea about those, idea means not only intellectual idea, in your own life, once we practice those and become ready, then we will slowly become eligible even to imbibe the spirits of the sadhana chatushtaya. So there is still something earlier before sadhana chatushtaya which we need to imbibe in our own lives. So those things are given, and because sadhana chatushtaya is a very immediate ones for Vedanta, so in this very short treatise, Shankaracharya informed only of these four. But still preliminary, still earlier than sadhana chatushtaya, there are some more things. In very short, we will take up those things and then come directly to the sadhana chatushtaya of the Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Just to give one example, in the Vedanta Sara, there he explains the adhikari, as in male Sanskrit words will come and explain the meaning. He says, the Vedanta Sara, that who is the adhikari? He says, adhikari tu. Adhikari is who? Vidhivat adhita veda vedanga tvena. Vidhivat, once was studied properly, which the Veda Vedanga tvena. The Vedas and their different parts and different angas, portions studied, and after that, apatataha adhikata akhila vedartha. By studying that, they have little bit the basic understanding of the meaning of the Vedas they have gained. Not may not be the full understanding, but the very basics they have understood after studying the details of Veda Vedanta, the Vedas and its different branches. And when telling Asmin Janmani Janmantareva, very important one observation is telling, either He has studied and understood these concepts, ideas in this birth or in another birth, before, earlier. And then what else he does? Kamya Nishiddha Varjana Purassaram. He has given up the Kamya Karma. Kamya Karma means the work, the whichever deeds running only after the results, seeking the results only by kamana, by desire, seeking desire and its results, and also giving up which one? Nishiddha Varjana Purassaram. Nishiddha Karma also, which has been the bad deeds, which has been prescribed in the Shastras or the society, which is not to be in the prohibited words, unlawful, against which only gets you punishment in this life or in the other life, those works. And then what does he do? He gives up those nishiddha, the bad works. He also gives up those work after desire or after results. Then what work does he do? He says he does nitya, naimittika, prayaschitta, upasana, anushtanena. These are the four types of work he does. Nitya karma. Nitya, the daily rites or daily, which has been enjoined by his stage of life. Those who work does. And naimittika, which is in nimitta it comes, means in special occasions. That's not daily. Nitya means daily, regularly. Nitya, without any fail, without any gap. And the naimittik is different nimittas, special occasions, which comes different pujas or whatever occasions come in his life. Those occasions, he does those work, those karma also. And another prayaschitta. Prayaschitta means if any wrong has been done in somewhere, like this nishiddha karma has been done somewhere. So to get himself rectified of the wrong result of that, he does some special some karma through that to get rid of the negative effect of his karma. And then last upasana. Upasana means the puja or upasana that will come again later on. So through this he becomes rid of the his idea of or the his blemishes or the sufferings on his soul, and slowly gets chitta shuddhi or gets purified with time. And through his purification he gets this sadhana chatushtaya, these four sadhanas, and through that four sadhanas, slowly he becomes competent or eligible for the knowledge of Vedanta. Now here, two things we'll take up. What he said about the Vidhivat Adhita Veda Vedanga, that he has studied the scriptures and a little bit at the basic understanding he has got. So here, again in today's life, it may not be said that everybody has studied Vedas, Vedangas, Upanishads indirectly, but at the original word of Veda, it comes from Vidhatu. Vidhatu means knowledge, to know. So the knowledge, the whatever Vedas we have right today, many Vedas is lost or many Vedas, it is a knowledge, eternal knowledge of mankind. So it may come directly from the existing Vedas, a textbook which you have with today, or it may come through experience of life even, which had been not been accumulated, not been codified in the books in today's. So in today's world, we can take this study of Veda Vedanga and at least having the basic idea of that. Either in literary sense also, that it studied this directly this text of Veda Vedanga and had the concept of that. And if not that, then he has the concepts of life. He have experienced life, and through his life has taught him. Like we said earlier, that Avadhutas had 24 gurus. The guru, even the nature, even a small child, even different animals, birds, they were teaching him. So from them he gained knowledge. So Veda Vedanga, though literally it may mean that studying the text itself, but in the higher context, we may get also this knowledge through the experience of life. Life itself is a teacher, it teaches us. So this is the larger concept of studying and understanding the basic the rules and notions of experience of life. The next point was Asmin Janmani Janmantareva. Once you have studied and known these things or experienced these things either in this life or in Janmantari in earlier other life. Why he said that? To quote one story of Sri Ramakrishna in his Gospel Vachanamrit, he says, see, one person was doing sadhana. He arranged all the rituals for that and did all the rituals. But after being ready to worship the Divine Mother to obtain the result, he was doing all these things in a forest, and suddenly a tiger came and tiger grabbed this person and took him away. So this man was dead, no more. And another man who was in the affair of the tiger and he was sitting up in the tree. He saw all these happenings. The another man has ready that prepared all the rituals for the puja, upasana, and tiger took him away. And he came down and he started worshipping. Everything was arranged by the other man. And just he started worship and Divine Mother came to him and gave him a boon. So this man was astonished that how without any much effort he didn't need to arrange all those things for the puja, but even mother was pleased. And the other man who so meticulously did everything for the upasana, but he could not get the result, desirous result, whereas the tiger took him away. Mother said, so you don't remember that in this life you didn't have to do much, but in the earlier life you've done much penance. And through that karma, this life, all these arrangements were meant to you, and with very less effort, you could get the my grace of my Divine Mother. So this is the idea of Janmani Janmantaraba, either in this life, or if it is shown or we see in some persons, in some saints or Mahapurush's life. In this life, it is not seen that they have experienced either studied much of like Veda or even experienced life much, but all of a sudden, as it were, he gained the knowledge. It shows that he have undergone all these things, either study of Veda or this knowledge, understanding the knowledge of life, experiencing life in details and much more in his earlier births. That time he has done these austerities and all the preparations. Just to give one example is like Sri Ramana Maharshi. When he was a young boy of school student of age of 17 years of old, one day he didn't read much scriptures. One day he was just lying in his home, and all of a sudden, without any thought, without any early preparation, the fear of death grabbed him. And through that, through vichara, self-inquiry, slowly, and within a few moments of time, he realized that he is one with Satchitananda, with Brahman. So earlier in this life, he didn't practice any austerity, didn't study any scriptures much, didn't do. But definitely all these preparations had been done in his earlier lives. So this life, all of a sudden, being a small boy of 17, you could realize the truth, the essence of Tattvabodha, the knowledge of truth. It manifested, flashed in his heart as it were. So that's why it is said the Janmani Janmantareva. Either you know in this life or in earlier life. And then, as we said, we have to give up when you understand this, Kamya Nishiddha Karma. Initially, we learn after the work of desire, Kamya Karma, the fruits, we seek for fruits. But after some time, we gain the experience that some fruits are sweet, but many fruits are bitter. Like the story of Mundaka Upanishad, where there are two birds sitting on a tree, branch of tree. The lower bird is eating sometimes sweet fruit, sometimes bitter fruit. Eating sweet fruit, he is forgetting everything, and when he is getting a bitter fruit, He's becoming alert, and then he's seeing there's another bird sitting above on the very top of the tree in his own pristine glory. But the higher bird is never eating any sweet or bitter fruit. The lower bird slowly, gaining experience after eating sweet fruit, he forgets all those things, but again eating uh, bitter fruit, he remembers that what he needs to remember that this his need is not only to get this sweet and bitter fruit, but he needs to go above and beyond this. Then it gives up this kamya karma, this running of the results, running after desire, good or bad, sweet or bitter fruit. That means kamya karma, giving up karma. And another is nishiddha karma. Nishiddha karma is, we may say that way, the bitter fruit. Kamya karma is the sweet fruit, and nishiddha karma is the bitter fruit. When we get sweet fruit, we ask more and more sweet fruit, but sometimes instead of sweet, we get one fruit which is bitter, and that is which is not to be taken, but we have to take the result of taking a bitter fruit. We may vomit, or our mouth may get very bad. So like that, this is a nishiddha karma which is ought not to be done. So with experience, slowly, this person gets matured. There's the story of Mundugam Rishad, the bird story, and gives up Kamya Karma and Nishiddha Karma. And what he does then? He does Nitya, Naimittika, Prashchitta, Upasana. Four types of work then he does. First is the Nitya Karma, that is a regular duty which is enjoined by the state of life or stage of life. Like for example, for Sandhya Vandana, Gayatri Vandana, and Lakshmi Varna, and many other, whichever duty is enjoined. And today's life, we may say, for a person in his own way. A householder needs to do his householder's duty, and a person who is a businessman needs to do his duty. A student needs to do his duty, means to study properly. A soldier needs to do his own duty. Doctor, a police needs to do his own duty. So whatever duty has been enjoined in his stage of life, and to this context, we may say that is his varna and ashrama and state of mind and stage of life. He needs to do those things without being attached, without being running of the kamya karma and on the ambition. Because we saw that we run after only for ambition and kamya karma. Someday or other we will also take some bitter fruit, which is nishiddha karma, and do some wrong deeds and get the wrong results and get the punishment thereof. So after doing this thing, after many times, once later on we become more alert and we think that enough is enough, that we don't need all those things, running after that. We will only do duty. Swami says, Swami Vivekananda, in his Karma Yoga, duty for duty's sake, karma for karma's sake. So like that he does Nitya Karma, which produces Chitta Shuddhi, the purification of the heart. This is the purpose of Nitya Karma. Through that only, once your heart is purified, slowly you become more eligible for imbibing those four qualifications of the sadhana chatushtaya. So this is Nitya Karma. Then is the Naimittika Karma. Nitya is the daily karma. Either we said like daily rites, Sandhya Vandana Gayatri, or his daily duty as a householder or student or doctor or businessman or soldier or police, like that. And Naimittika karma is nimitta, when special occasions in a stage of life or state of mind, whichever special occasions come, which is not daily, and those occasions also, whatever is enjoined by him, whatever is bound by him, whatever he needs to do by him. Like earlier there were different samskaras. There were 40 samskaras, and they were reduced and reduced. Now there are few samskaras there from their birth to the death. It has to be done in the Sanatana culture. So there are samskaras, or in today's context again, whatever special duties befalls us in our life, again in a stage or a state of mind, as a householder or as a monk or as we said, as a teacher or student or etc. So the special duty work which befalls us in special situations. So those we need to do again in the spirit of not in a spirit of kamya, but it's not a spirit of attachment, not to doing as a nishiddha, which has been not to be done, not in that spirit, but in the spirit of chitta shuddhi and unattached to it, so that we become more and more purified. That way, naimitya karma has to be done. Then the third one is prayaschitta. Prayaschitta means something when some nishiddha karma, wrong deeds, has been done to get rid of the results of that negative results, and again prepare the main path. So that is to do some deeds. Like for example, when a person steals something, a police catches him and puts him to jail, and after maybe a few months or so, he's been released again, and he's been given another opportunity to now to do good deeds, no more to steal and do bad deeds. So similarly, in a life also, if something wrong has been done by you, either sometimes unknowingly or something even knowingly out of greed, you cannot control yourself, or many situations happen in life that prashchitta means you to get rid of the negative effects of that, so that again you can pursue the path of Vedanta through the sadhana cheshta. You prepare yourself by cleansing your like we clean our body, like we clean our clothes, like we clean our teeth, like clean our hairs and nails, like that. That way, cleaning our mind. That's a prashchitta, special some deeds. Then the fourth one we said is upasana. Nitya, Naimittika, Prashchita, Upasana. Upasana is very important that it is called the term it is given like Saguna Brahma Vishat Manasa Vyapara Rupani. About Saguna Brahma. Upasana means prayer and puja, the worship ritual, the meditation through that, like which Guru has been given you through some mantra, or when you go to some temple, or in your own room, in your own shrine, by thinking of your chosen deity. So I'm going to remember whichever form it happens to you, whether it's Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, Hari, Shiva, Durga, Sri Ramakrishna, any other form, whichever happens to you or which your Guru has enjoined to you. And you carry on that Manasa Vyapar, it is mental, that not only the outer ritual like pouring water on Shivalinga, but the mental dhyana meditation, thinking of your chosen deity or ideal again and again, anytime. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, there's a wonderful way that when you have a toothache, you go on working or whatever work has been enjoined in your life in a family, but you're always aware of the toothache. The pain is always there. Or another example is giving a person who is a paramour that carries on his enjoined duty in his family, but he can never forget and always remembers secretly the paramour. So similarly, that Saguna Brahma Vishayak Manasa Vyapa, mental upasana means that you carry on your work, enjoin duty. Enjoin duty means which are the enjoin duty? I said the Nitya Karma, the Naimitya Karma, the Nitya regular work, Naimitya special work, and if Prashchitta means if anything has been off track, you have done wrong thing, again to be in the main track and to do that, get rid of the negative effects, to Prashchitta Karma. This is the work you enjoined. You're doing this work, but the other side you do upasana means you mentally you carry on thinking of your Lord. In Gita, Sri Krishna says, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. You remember me is the upasana. Always remember me, smarana. And Yuddhacha means the Arjuna's work is to do Yuddha because he is in the battlefield. So this Yuddha is the Naimittika karma here. And Nitya karma is regular karma. For Arjuna, that was Naimittika, that is special occasion for him. And prashchitta, we said, if something wrong done, to undo that thing. Like in computer, we undo something, or refresh something like that. And upasana is mamanusmara. Another example Sri Ramakrishna gives, like one servant who is working in his master's house, but his mind is always there in his village where his children are there. His work is in the master's house, but he remembers in mind. His mind stays in the his own home in his village. Or like another example that he says, a tortoise stays in the water, but its mind is always where he has laid his eggs. So this mam anusmana yuddhacha, this has to be done simultaneously together. One after another always. This is very important. Because if we don't do this together, that each has its separate results. Like by karma, it is said the work, we go to Pitri Loka, and by this meditation we go to the Deva Loka. So we need to combine these two. This example which was given in Ishwa Upanishad, but we won't go to these details now. We will only say that as Adhikari, these are the prerequisites before even to be eligible for sadhana cheshta. After that, you become real Adhikari. So to sum up, what are the four things we said? We said it is first is to study or know get the experience of life and by Vedanga, the basic ideas, either the scriptures or the experiencing, knowing the life, either this life or in earlier life, and to giving up your the attached work, kamya karma by desire, and giving up the prohibited works, and doing the nitya karma, which is duty for duty's sake, and doing namitya karma, special occasion work, doing praschit if any wrong has been done, and doing upasana, the meditation on your God, mam anasmara yuddhacha. Through this four, when you do enough, then slowly your mind will be cleansed. Chitta Shuddhi, purification of heart happens. Then when your heart becomes more and more purified, then you be eligible for this fourth sadhana chatushtaya, which of the very beginning first one we are coming today. Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. So what is the first of the Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka? So after those things, preliminary things, now we are ready for this four sadhana chestas. With this four sadhana chestas, we will ready become adhikari for Vedanta. This is all the stages, and many stages are overlapping. It is not that very compartmental, tight compartment. It is overlapping many cases, and different persons with different samskaras, different prarabdhas. It overlaps or comes. Some stages comes earlier, some stages come later. Like in Janmani Janmantareba, in this life or in earlier life, it already overlaps and changes its sequences. The first one is Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Vivek means discrimination between eternal and the ephemeral. Nitya, Anitya. What is that? Sri Shankaracharya says, Nityavastvekaham Brahma Yad Vyatiriktam Sarvam Nityam Ayam Eva Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. To bring the meaning, he says that Nitya to Ekam Brahma. नित्य वस्तु एक ब्रह्म है. नित्य टू एकम ब्रह्म. नित्य alone is Brahma alone is Nitya. Brahman alone is the one Nitya Vastu. And Tad Vatiriktam, उससे भिन्न, everything else is Sarvam Anityam. सब अनित्य है. Except Brahman, everything else is Anitya. I am Eva. This one. This is verily, yehi. This conviction is called Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. This conviction is the discrimination between eternal and the ephemeral. So this is a very short the definition of Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. We will come in details about this idea of Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. But now, in 10 minutes remaining, if any there are any questions or observations, feedback, suggestions, we would like to listen to it, and then we'll remaining time if required. So कोई प्रश्न, कोई कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे? Any question, कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे या कुछ बताना चाहेंगे? अगर मैसेज करना चाहे या बताना चाहे तो बोल सकते हैं, नहीं तो मैं एक दो विषय और बताऊंगा. Anybody if wants to ask any question or they can put any message. So remaining 5-10 minutes, I'll then say about this very short some more things about the Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. Like in the Vedanta Saraya we said, and there is another text, there also the same thing has been said, which way that Brahma eva Nitya Vastu. Brahman alone is the Nitya, real. And apart from Tadanyat Akhilam Anityam, apart from Brahman, like here it is said, Tad Vyatiriktam, apart from Brahman, everything is Anitya, not real. So the idea here is given here, Brahman alone is real or permanent, and apart from Brahman, everything is impermanent or unreal. So, just hold a minute. আসুন ঘরে আসুন ঘরে ঘরে হবে so then the Brahman alone is real, we said that Nitya Vastu alone Brahman. So to divide this world experience in twofold, as it were. ঘরে আসুন. So to divide this two, Nitya Brahman alone is real, and apart from Brahman, everything is unreal and is not permanent. Here there are some terms here, the Nitya and Anitya, real and unreal, permanent, impermanent. This conviction is called Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Some more we'll discuss in short time, we'll not discuss today, but we'll say that this is the conviction. Right now we don't have the realization of Brahman. This is the very beginning, the first stage of the sadhana chatushta, when he says the very beginning this journey, as it were, that Ishvara or Brahman alone is true, everything else is untrue. In the so-called worldly life, we seem to know the difference, just the difference, the opposite. We think this external, this life world which we have seen through our senses, indriyas, we think that is real. And we don't think that Ishvara is real because we don't perceive Ishvara right now today like through our senses. But here just the opposite has been said. But to at least gain this conviction of this opposite realization which has been said here, the discussion, the matter, we need that idea of the chitta shuddhi, purification of the heart, through that nitya naimittika upasana and prashchit, through that. Unless we are purified enough, like a mirror, when we want to see our own face, but if the mirror is covered with a piece of cloth, or the mirror is covered with the dust, then we cannot see our own face. So similarly, to see our own reflection in the mirror, first we need to remove the piece of cloth on the mirror, or we need to wipe the dust of the from the surface of the mirror glass. Then only we can see our own face to face, as it were. So with only with this chitta shuddhi, or the purification of the heart, we will be eligible, we will get enough conviction that what this external world, this experience is showing, that world is real and everything is unreal. But we will get the conviction of the opposite. The world is not real, but something beyond that. Though that beyond something we have not yet experienced right now, only a conviction right now. It is not a real experiential truth. It's not a realization. It is not an anubhuti right now. But we believe, have the conviction, no, this world cannot be real. Something else is beyond this. That is real. I want to know that. So this is the very beginning of a journey. We know sometimes it happens during our some state of sorrow or something, loss of a family members, or many cases. We forget other time. We remember always that world is real, everything else unreal. But those time when something wrong happens, some wrong happens in life, like some of our family members passes away like that, then that time we remember, we feel that what is the meaning of this world, what is the meaning of this life. Probably this has no meaning, this world, and something else it has to be true. Then we think that who else is true, that we remember God. Then we strive for God or God realization in times of deep suffering. So that is the very beginning of the spiritual journey. This Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka, the first of the sadhana chatushtaya for the Vedanta, means you have the very basic glimpse of that. That no, this world cannot be real. Something else beyond that is real. That is which is called Brahman in this Vedanta. You may call it any other name also. We have not yet realized that Brahman, but this beginning of the journey, that's something I want to know beyond this about my mundane, this sensory experience, sensory realization, something else. So this is the beginning of our Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, the first one of Sadhana Chatushtaya. So today we will end with this. The next day we will carry on with the next of the Sadhana Chatushtayas at the Viraga Vairagya, the Shatka, the Shamadamadi, the six Sampattis, and the Mokshatva. We will also again elaborate a little more on this Viveka, Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, in details, some more details. So the time is up, so let us end today with this. In the end, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or feedback, you may please either ask directly by switching on the microphone, or you may even put any call messages. Or otherwise, we'll end with the Shanti Mantra. Is there any questions or suggestions, observations? You may put right now, or later in the group also. Otherwise, we can end today. Dr. Rao, do you have any questions? You asked that you felt difficult earlier day last.
No, sir, no, sir.
Today it is better, more.
No, no, no.
That's what slowly we have done and hopefully understood. So let us end today, and we'll do the
Yes, sir.
Shanti Mantra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And for that, in the beginning, we may once again do that Mangalacharan Mantra also as a Shanti Mantra. And with that, we can end today. The mantra is Vasudevendra Yogindra Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshanam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodha Abhidhiyate. So, the meaning we have said earlier that Vasudevendra, the king of gods Vasudevendra, we have said earlier that it means that it is, though the human form Sri Krishna, but it means directly Ishvara. Yogindra means king of yogi. Natva, by praying, going down to him or her, as we said, the Ishvara, there is no gender specific, whichever may appeal to you. And Jnana Pradam, he is the bestower of Jnana, he is the Guru himself, Satchidananda Brahma, he is Guru, as Sri Ramakrishna used to say. And for the Mumukshanam Hitarthaya, for those who seek for sorry, for liberation, for their hita, for their benefit, and for that purpose, this Tattvabodha, this test by Sri Shankaracharya Bhagwan, Adi Shankaracharya, Abhidhita, we are studying this text. Let us end this with today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om, that's that. Sri Ramakrishna Pranavastu. The three Shantis means the three tapa, Adhyatmik, Adhidaivik, Adhibhautik. Adhyatmik is for our own karma, the tapa, whatever affects us. Adhibhautik is by other bhuta awareness, other jivas, living beings. Adhidaivik is by the external, this world, whatever happens. And Hari Om Tatsat is the name of the Lord. We again remember his name like in the beginning. And Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu means whichever the Sri Ramakrishna or whichever is your chosen ideal, your Ishta, we are giving this result, we are offering the result of the study to wholehearted to him. Thank you all. Next day we can carry on with the next part of the sadhana chatushtaya. Let us end this today. Good day.